Hi, guys. This video is a midway point review. Actually, it's a little past midway point of Gold Season 4, okay? There's been games going on all the time. I've covered as much as I can of Gold. There's been other creators who I'll give a shout out to at the end who've been covering Gold. Basically, Gold players are fighting. It's really close for survival, for playoffs, and potential promotion right now. So I just want to go an overview of where we're at, basically after 3 or so rounds, okay? So, quick reminder. If you are at first place, you get immediately promoted to platinum for the next season. If you're in second and third, you go to playoffs to potentially be promoted to platinum the following season. Fourth place is just alive in gold for the next season. Fifth and sixth are relegated and have to come through silver. Okay, so Group A, it is super close right now. We've got Sobek at 6 wins, Vivi at 6 wins, Slam at 5, Lucho and Overtaken at 4, and then Gookie at 2. So if you look at the odds, this is what the probabilities suggest. So obviously things are not looking very good for Gookie. She does have a 7% chance at survival, but she's going to need to win her last 2 rounds. Things are fairly possible for everybody else, though. Overtaken could potentially get relegated. But like, you look at these sets, you've got Overtaken versus Lucho, so they're tied together. Whoever wins that series, big advantage in promotion. And then you have Overtaken versus Gookie. So I would say with how things have gone, odds are probably a little bit higher that maybe Overtaken survives and Lucho does not. But things aren't exactly easy for Slam either. Slam has to play against Vivi and then Lucho. Sobek's playing Gookie. Sobek's then playing Vivi as well. So like, things are super close in Group A. We could have any of like 4 players winning the group, any of 4 players potentially getting relegated, which is just crazy. Okay, then we've got Group B. Group B has been very surprising. I kind of assumed that Mihai would be at the top of the group. Maybe then you'd have like Draken coming in second or third because he would have more experience. I didn't expect Rapard to be 9-0 so far. So Rapard 3-0'd Miguel at the start. Rapard then 3-0'd Wide. And then Rapard 3-0'd Draken. So Rapard has Mihai yet to play. And then Rapard has Prisma, who are 2 players who are performing very well, and they are second and third place. But Rapard's already pretty much statistically safe, and he is the big favorite to get first based on how things have gone so far. Prisma, Mihai, only at 5 wins, Draken at 4, and then Miguel and Wide looking like the favorites to be relegated. Miguel just really hasn't been in the shape that he was in years past, and Wide is an up-and-coming player who has had great games, but it's just missing a little bit of something. At least that's what it feels like. Here's the probabilities now. So Rapard's got a 92% chance to be first. It's impossible for him to get relegated, which I guess makes sense. And then the possibilities elsewhere are pretty much as you would expect. Draken, he's still got decent chances to get relegated if he falls in the 5th or 6th spot. Most likely still in the running and, you know, controls his own fate, considering he's so close to Prisma and Mihai. Miguel and Wide have to win. They have to win both of their sets, probably at least 2-1 to survive. And even then, I don't know if it's exactly set. Miguel Draken is going to be a very interesting series, considering they played each other in the past, and there's a bit of history there. Miguel will feel like he's the better player. Draken feels like, you know, he's the better player. You know, and then Miguel Wide, I mean, whoever loses Miguel Wide in the final week is probably 100% out at this point. But I mean, look at the other sets. Mihai Rapard's coming up, and then also Rapard plays against Prisma. So there is a weird world. If Rapard loses, if he gets swept at all against Mihai and Prisma, let's say even in just one of the sets, there's a chance someone could leap up and take first away from him, which is a big deal because if you fall into the playoffs, you're up against a really good player on the other side. There's no guarantee you're going to get promoted to platinum for the next season. So Rapard's been the standout. I'm expecting big things from the young gun Prisma and Mihai over the final 2 weeks. All right, so now focusing on Group C. Group C has, again, been pretty crazy. Sizcon, another player who's promoted up from silver, kind of that next generation feel, younger, fast, aggressive, but hasn't had a big tournament standout yet. He's first in the group right now. He's first in the group with 7 wins. You then have Running at 5, Z40 at 5, Kingston at 4, Lan at 4, and then Target at 2. And the big thing about Sizcon it's not like he had the easy sets yet. He beat Running 2-1. He beat Target 3-0. Maybe Target's the easiest. And then he beat Kingston 2-1. And I would have said that like Running and Kingston and maybe even Lan would have been top of this group. And so far, that's not really the case. And so as things stand now, Sizcon's got a 72% chance to get first. It's almost pretty much a lock. It feels like that he's going to go playoffs, so technically it's not. Z40, I mean, sky's the limit for him. He's had some good results so far. Running as well, still controls his own fate. Lan still controls his own fate. Kingston still controls his own fate. Target technically does, but it's not looking great for him. But look at the chances, dude. Look at the chances that so many of these players could be relegated at this point. This group is the closest right now. And we've got some banger sets as well. Running Kingston, that's like a must-win to survive potentially for both of them. Kingston Target, maybe you'd give the odds to Kingston there. Running Lan is a big one too. Like these three players here, Running, Lan, Kingston playing up against each other. Sizcon has to play Z40 and Sizcon has to play Lan as well, which if Z40 beats Sizcon 2-1, immediately he's very close. And then if Z40 gets a good result against Target, Z40 could leapfrog him to the front. Easily the most competitive group overall right now in Gold League, Group C. Can't wait to see how things go. All right, and then the final group is Group D, where we have another player who is promoted up through Silver, another new, fresh, young generation player who's been playing like a beast. Lewis is first right now with 7 wins. We then have Kasva with 6, Lix with 6, and then Ganji with 4, followed by Stone Pleased at 3, and then Say My Name all the way down at just 1 win. Now, in this group, it feels fairly likely that Stone Please and Say My Name are probably relegated. But Stone Please still has some really solid chances because he's still only behind Ganji by 1 point, right? So I bring that up because Ganji plays Kasva and Ganji plays Lix, which, I mean, as you can see here, up at the top of the group, playing very well right now. And so I'm not necessarily guaranteeing that Ganji's going to get the wins that he needs there. Now, Stone Please has to play Lewis. That's not great for him compared to how Lewis is playing. But he does have maybe an easier set up against Say My Name. But I'd expect Say My Name to go down swinging and get some wins off of Lix and Stone Please and potentially spoil some parties there. Ganji Kasva feels like a really big series there. Ganji Lix is a really big series. And then Kasva Lewis, that's final round. That may end up being fighting for first place in the group, depending. And it should be pretty close. But, you know, we've got, 18% chances for relegation there for Ganji. About like 72% chance of relegation for Stone Please. And then very high percentage chance there for Say My Name. So he's probably screwed. But I think he's only screwed if he... Well, he's screwed if he loses a game, maybe. Or loses 2 games. Like, in theory, what you could do... I probably shouldn't waste time doing this on the site. You guys can go to it yourself. It's t90official.tv and click Titans League. But I think if Say My Name wins 3-0, before we even look at any other results, odds are still pretty good that he survives if he wins 3-0, 3-0. But that's a lot of wins, and these players are really good. So that's basically the update on where we're at with Titans League Gold. And so important to mention that when we get near the tail end, there will be a break for Platinum so we could focus on the conclusion of Gold. So whether it means I'm spending 7 days a week streaming instead of 5 so we can cover more Gold that last week, or whether that means, or if that's just the dedicated like time frame we'll have for Gold playoffs, which is there, you'll still get to see some of my cast and coverage on that. I'm not just going to completely miss and gloss over it. My hope is next week that I will cover round 4. So, we will miss some of the sets, of course, because I'm covering all of Platinum. But I still want to cover some of those sets because these sets seem really juicy and really good. So you could check Wikipedia to know when these sets are going to happen. And then keep an eye on Twitch. There's been a lot of people covering some Gold apart from myself. Daniela's been covering a lot of Gold so far. T. West has been doing a decent coverage of Gold. Memb has been casting a lot of Gold League as well. So those 3, I'm probably missing some names. Maybe some people in the comments can list some others as well. But yeah, they've been covering Gold, which means a lot when there's so many games happening, and I can't necessarily see it all. Please leave a comment on the player that surprised you the most, and a comment you're rooting for the most, and then maybe which 5th round series you think is going to be the biggest banger. Like, is it going to be Lewis Kasva? Is it going to be like, what was it, Sizcon? I forgot already. Shoot, what's the one with Sizcon? Isn't it like Sizcon against Z40? Is it going to be Running Lant? Let me know in the comments. Hope you've enjoyed Titans League so far, and that's your little update, guys. Enjoy.